I am live. Hello and welcome. So, I was thinking about something the other day. And sorry I don't have everything I'm just playing a video in the background right now. But we're going to look at the desktop a little bit in a minute. So, science... Actually, we're going to go to the desktop right now. Let's study this out together, because I was doing it all on my Chromebook, and so don't have anything on this computer. So let's do this. I gotta open that. Let me make sure you can hear me too. Testing. Okay, good. Looks like you can hear me. Let's see here. Okay, we need to go to this and desktop. You should be seeing my desktop. Okay. I think you are. So, science. From the Latin word scientia, meaning knowledge, is a systematic enterprise that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the universe. Okay, so let's change that to earth science. Whoops. Okay, because... Oh, maybe we can just look at the dictionary here. Let's go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a good place for general knowledge. Not always very true knowledge, but like the first sentence here. Earth science or geoscience includes all fields of natural science related to planet Earth. Okay, great. Since we're not on a planet. And natural science. Well, that's a term we'll use. It says here is a branch of science concerned with the description, prediction, and understanding of natural phenomena based on empirical evidence from observation and experimentation. So there is observation in there, huh? What do you know, globe people? You don't observe a globe. You don't observe any rotation or movement ever. And you know I'm not saying that because it's something that you don't know. You know that too. You see the stars moving every night that you can see the stars. And you also observe the earth being completely still. And the atmosphere, everything just completely still. That's what you observe. So if you're going to do any earth science, you might want to make sure that you're actually doing the science. Make sure you're actually observing the world that you're in. That stationary and flat one. I don't care. For thousands of years people have thought it was a globe. I don't care. I know it's not. So that's going to be my attitude for this stream. Where did I see it? Okay, right here. Earth scientists use tools from geology, chronology, physics, chemistry, geography, biology, mathematics, blah, blah, blah. All the things that we all have been taught in school. And it breaks it down here. But notice like one of the first things here. Earth's interior. Earth's interior. I mean, if I start reading this, there's going to be a lie in the first... love you too, Zulu. Good to see you guys. It's like this. The Earth's interior. A volcanic eruption is the release of stored energy from below Earth's surface. Now, that's true. It's definitely released some kind of... some kind of, I don't know what to call it, energy. But then they say Plate tectonics, mountain ranges, volcanoes, and earthquakes are geological phenomena that can be explained in terms of physical and chemical processes of the Earth's crust. Beneath the Earth's crust lies the mantle, oh really? Which is heated by the radioactive decay of heavy elements. Oh really? How do we know this? Oh, we don't know this. That's just a guess. Nobody knows what's in the center of your globe. Nobody would claim to know unless they were deceiving themselves. The mantle is not quite solid and consists of magma, which is in the state of semi-perpetual convection. Okay. See, this is a bunch of I don't know what you call it. Someone had an idea and they said, this must be what it is. It's kind of like the sunset. Oh, that must be because we're on a spinning globe. No. There's a much better way to look at a sunset. A much more accurate way to look at a sunset. But maybe you just have to have the eyes to see that way. Maybe you never know. So, okay, now the next thing I want to look at is what's natural. And I just want like general definitions here. Because I'm not trying to like get lost where we're going. Existing in nature and not made or caused by people, coming from nature, not having any. Okay, so that's a. Let's see. Looks like. Okay, here's an example: a natural bridge, like something that man didn't make. Let's see. Yeah, I think we get the basic idea. Now, what if I put supernatural in front of that, or super in front of that? Supernatural definition of or relating to an order of existence beyond the visible observable universe, especially. I guess I'll click on that. Of or relating to God or a god, demigod, spirit, or devil. So, let me go to the description of this video. I typed something out there. Hopefully I don't press any wrong buttons. I just want to read what I typed out. Okay, in order to try to gain knowledge about the Earth, it would seem that science would be the best way. But if we do that, we won't be able to learn the real knowledge of the truth. Now that might sound funny what I'm saying, but let me explain it. Okay, science limits its study to physical, chemical, and biological things. And maybe I didn't get them all there, but then the things that we know the world's made up of, the physical and material things and whatever. But science limits it to that. When there's a different world that is supernatural. And I guess I could say an example. I have a night vision scope that has infrared. And I have a camera that has infrared. And you can turn the infrared light on, and it, like wherever you're pointed, it lights it up inside of the scope. But when you look out with your eyes, nothing's different. So you can't see it with your eyes. But when you look through the scope, it makes everything like daylight in there. So that's maybe an example. Or like, I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep reading. Okay, when there's a world that's supernatural. Jesus teaches knowledge about how he declared all these things. Like he spoke them. And he doesn't limit the knowledge of the truth if we consider it, if we listen to him, if we listen to his voice. And that we're going to be reading a surprise chapter in the Bible, because after this, I want to talk about this a little bit more, but after we get done with this, it's on the same topic, because the story we're going to read, I'm not going to tell you where it is yet, but the story we're going to read is, okay, let's get rid of that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It's going to be taking place in a supernatural world. And the Bible is full of stories that take place in the supernatural world. Right away in the beginning, like I was saying, Jesus teaches knowledge about these things. Genesis 1. If you want truth, there it is. And there's lots of, ways. I think there is lots of ways to try to understand what happened in Genesis 1. And really what happened is the Word of God went forth. And what the Bible says is that when those words go forth, when he spoke them, when Jesus said these words, that's when these things manifested into reality, when he spoke them. And I can give you lots of examples of that. Right in Genesis, it states that the world was made in 6 days, and then he rested on the seventh day. That's how Jesus created the world. That's, I don't want to use the word science, but that's ultimate knowledge of creation. That's what this world considers to be earth science. What they're actually looking for is ultimate truth from, well, not just Genesis, but I'm saying from Jesus. He's the Word of God. Everything that he says is actual 100% true. So when he says there's angels in heaven, and when he says he's on at the right hand of the Father, or in heaven, on his throne in heaven, that's up in the sky, okay? When he says that's where he is, and he came down, and then when he went up, he ascended into the clouds, okay? That was the last time that we saw him. So he speaks things, and they are. That's why his word doesn't go forth and come back void, ever. So I'll keep reading this, sorry. If we listen to his voice, he reveals things that nobody knew. New things. And they're true and not a lie. Like I was saying, they're ultimate truth of the highest order. The only actual truth that's why I don't know where it says it, but he laughs at, maybe that's, let me look it up, let's see. I know the screen is boring because I'm just talking mostly, but let's do, which one was I thinking of? I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, okay, so I'll keep reading here. Science is wrong about everything when it concerns the earth beneath our feet and the sky above our heads, like the origin of those things, because they limit themselves. NASA doesn't believe in God. That's why they're trying to search out his throne, his tabernacle, his heaven. Okay? Don't believe it. But because God's there. So anything they're doing there with satellites and any of these things is also like the ultimate sin. The one that actually destroys the creation. But it's been spoken already. What I'm saying is the word went forth. It happens the way that it's said. And like I was saying, there's maybe different ways to look at some of the things that are said. Like some examples are stars Are they angels? I believe they are, but what's another example? Jerusalem. Is Jerusalem on the ground, or is Jerusalem in the sky? New Jerusalem, I mean. Is the house of Israel, are those people on the earth today? Or were they just back in the day? What's another example? You know what I'm trying to say? There's different ways to understand certain things. Like some of the things in Revelation, for example, where it's talking about how much blood would be spilled, and it describes like a lot of blood. I don't want to get into it, but things like that, I don't think are actually literal blood. That's just my opinion. I think that's talking about like the blood of the saints or the martyrs, like that kind of blood. I don't think in Revelation, and this makes sense to me, maybe it does to you, but those people that got sealed in their foreheads with the seal of the living God, that were those 12 tribes of the children of Israel, there were people that had their heads chopped off, or they were killed for the word of God. But here's an interesting thing. Those people never saw death. They were in the first resurrection. They were the ones that were still alive. So they didn't lose their actual head. I think that it says in Isaiah 42, kind of an example of what I mean, I think. Or a little better example, anyway. Okay, here's my servant. Okay, maybe I'll just read this a little bit. Because it's important, I think, to understand that the things that the prophets wrote down, those are the things we really want to grasp and understand and know for the time that we live in, because they were actually writing those things, giving warning of the time we're living in. So it's like they wrote it. They wrote them for us. God gave visions to those prophets of the time of the end for us, so that we could endure and so that we could have some kind of understanding, which builds faith anyway. Doesn't it? Okay, let's see here. I gotta get my head on straight here. Okay, now I think this is talking about Jesus, but I also think that it's talking about the children of Israel in Revelation, the 12 tribes that are sealed in their foreheads, okay? Behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. I like that one right there. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail, nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth. Shouldn't it say he that balled up the earth? I'm just kidding. And that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee. This is the verse right here. This is the part I was thinking of. There's something wrong with my mouse, so forgive me. And give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles. I gotta open something else. Because, it's not going to give me Bible Hub. Wow. Okay, because Jesus prayed about this. So I'm going to tie these two together because this is what's it makes sense to me. Okay, it says, he will give, the Lord says, he will give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles. Give thee. To open the blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. Okay? I'm going to stop right there, and we'll go to John 17. Okay, Jesus was praying. He was praying for us. I'm just going to read a few verses here, skip around. Verse 8, for I have given unto them, actually I should start in verse 6. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Sorry, I had to click a button there. Okay. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. Okay, I'm going to skip a little bit down to, I think right here. 14. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Okay, I pray not that thou should take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Now, look at this right here. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. This is what science, like the idea of science actually is. Like the knowledge of God. Science can't cover it. It limits itself. NASA limits themselves. They're like closing one eye. And it's not even, someone in the chat at the beginning said the Bible isn't a science book. And I agree. The Bible isn't a science book. The Bible is ultimate truth. Science has limitations, and those limitations are a handicap. Now, in what I was reading, I got to finish that because there is a lot of science that is true, works great. So we have to be careful. But let's see here. Okay, it's not possible to explain supernatural things when rejecting that there's a spiritual world in the sky, a celestial heaven. If you don't believe in heaven and spirits and God, you are not going to understand the world that he spoke with his word. I would say the best way to understand what he spoke was to read his word. And I'm not even kidding. And I'm going to share some other scriptures too. Look what if you want truth, you get it from him. Look what he's praying for you. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. As thou hast sent me into the world, he's praying, okay? As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. So don't tell me that flat earth doesn't save people, or biblical cosmology, or just understanding that God is right above us in heaven on his throne. And if you acknowledge him, he will change your world. He will change your life. He will change everything about you. He'll make it better. And what I mean by that is he'll do things that you wouldn't be able to do. Things you would not even think of grasping, things that you would not ever expect to be able to overcome. Let's look up the word sanctify. Just on Google. Set apart or declare holy, consecrate. Another one is free from sin, purify. May God sanctify his soul. Purify, cleanse, unburden, redeem. Okay? I add another one to that, but it's not right, but commandeer. And some of you guys will understand what I mean by that. Take over. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but the word has kind of a, like a, it's not quite the right meaning, but, so sanctify them through thy truth. I'm telling you that my testimony and a lot of the testimony of the people here is that they have come to know God because of their belief in his creation, that he made it by speaking it, that he created it from nothing. Another impossible thing. It's called supernatural. God can do that. So if you are, I'm using NASA as an example just because they're kind of like, they're a huge part of that scientific community or whatever. NASA is limited. The universities are limited. That's why God laughs at their knowledge. It's not knowledge. It's science, falsely so called. So I made a video last night, and I made an observation of the moon moving in the sky. I took 2 videos 5 minutes apart and from the same place, and showed that the moon moved an amount in those 5 minutes. And at the end of the video, I put a partnership for a pseudoscience free world or something like that. Okay, I will finish reading this finally, I think. Okay. I hope to explain why science is very deceptive, even without trying to be. It is true in many ways, but it is untrue in any area of this creation. The clouds, for example. I would guess that science would just say that the clouds are water in like a vapor or a gas form, and then when they collect together, then they get heavy enough to fall. Nope. The angels govern how much rain comes down on your house. And that's the truth. I'm not saying I understand all that, but that's the truth. The angels do it. They make clouds, they do all of that. All the everything that happens in the atmosphere, the angels of the 4 winds, the winds, that's part of this creation. A lot of people who believe biblical cosmology know that the earth has a foundation. It has pillars. It has a firmament, a structure, like a sky above it is not a vast universe. It's celestial worlds. So let me give an example of that. So the earth is the way we understand it. We know the earth. If you hit your head on something, it's going to hurt and might leave a bruise. Or if you're like me, whatever you hit your head on will just break and fall off. I'm just kidding. I'm hard-headed. I'm just kidding. Really though, this world is physical and material. If you cut yourself, you bleed. If you fall too far, you break bones. Cars crash, and it's a real world, right? We all understand that it is a very physically real world, and our bodies are very physically real. And we all witness that. We are all witnesses of that, you know. So I just want to back some of these things up and show you why I can see how wrong the idea of science is. It's failed us all, and it's still celebrated. And so in here I put, I'm a science denier, because I love the truth and I love who showed me the truth. That's important. I'm just saying it's important because of the time we live in. My understanding is that this world is not going to be the way that it's been the whole time it's been here. Very soon, because of the things that are happening in the sky. You know, in the end, in Revelation, there's a dragon that's deceiving the world, and he is fighting with Michael and his angels. Let's just think about that. There is a dragon up in the sky, and I know the flat earthers think it's fake, and the globe earthers think it's the future. SpaceX dragon. But there's a dragon up in the sky, and it is deceiving everyone. It's deceiving the world, or it did deceive the world. And we know who that is. Who's the ruler of the darkness of this world? Where is the darkness of this world? Right up in the sky, right where they say they're going to space. Even the astronauts say it's a bottomless pit. It's an abyss of darkness. Some of the astronauts call it, it's just death. Death. What's that guy's name? Luco something. I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm not going to say it. But darkness. Darkness. Remember, God divided the day from the night, light from the darkness, and he saw the light was good, and the darkness couldn't comprehend the light. Don't be in that darkness. Don't be, because this is why I'm saying, this is why flat earth or biblical cosmology is a topic in this world right now. That's the grace of God being revealed to us, because we were all kind of a little bit given a bad deal. Not a bad deal, but the greatest deception, the time of all time that's existed, everyone that's ever lived. We have the hardest battle of all those people, because we live in a time when a mystery's been revealed by God, and it wasn't before. So the people that were born before us and lived their lives before us, they weren't accountable for this. This is a different thing. This is an apostate generation, and all of our deeds are wicked. I'm not saying you're all bad people or we're all bad people. I'm saying that in the eyes of God, the desires of our hearts are wicked against him. Mainly being having the heart to ascend into heaven, because that's what Lucifer has in his heart, to try to go up to where God is. You know, how many companies could say that for their mission statement that they want to ascend into heaven? Well, NASA, SpaceX, all the space agencies, and that's it. So are you going to be a person that is hey, I'm going to root for the space agency and have Lucifer for your father? Or you believe in God in heaven? Do you see why biblical cosmology changes people? God's in heaven, guys. He looks down on us all the time. And his angels are doing things all the time, ministering to people and to the whole world right now. a gospel that we didn't know, and it is good news. It's the everlasting gospel. Actually, I know it is because look what it says. Okay, first of all, I was going to go to Enoch 80. I just want to show you guys some scriptures of how I learned some of this and how it's become so real to me. Just some verses like it talks about things changing. Verse 7 here in Enoch chapter 80. The whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners. What is that saying? The whole order of the stars, the sky, the whole order of the stars will be concealed from the sinners. Well, let me change the wording on that. Because if we think about it, since NASA limits their studies to physical and material things, and not spiritual things, they have the whole order of the stars concealed. They don't understand at all the order of the stars. They don't at all understand it. They've made up a science that doesn't even exist. They've just made it up. Now, here's some science that, like natural science. Let's think of some. Okay, we could find out that water freezes, right? And then we could do some science and figure out at what temperature water freezes, okay? We can learn things from science, and it can be true. But it's made up things. We don't know why ice freezes or water freezes. We just know it's in a different state, and we just know that it freezes. To try to say more is hard on certain things, and if we're being honest, like when we were looking at earth science, and it said about the inside the earth or whatever, and it starts explaining everything about the inside of the earth, and they've drilled 8 miles. That's all the farther they've drilled down, I think. So it's a big old made up story. Okay, let's see here. Let me go. Whoops. I guess I'll hit save there. Okay, good. Okay, the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, the ones that want to ascend into heaven, like Lucifer. And the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, concerning the whole order of the stars. Now look. This is what I'm talking about. All of our ways are wicked, and it's not natural for us to feel that they're wicked. And I'll try to come up with some examples. I am right now, ascending into heaven. Okay, you might not have plans to be an astronaut, but the idea that Mars is a place that people could go to live, that's Antichrist. That's the Antichrist spirit. Because you'd have to fly past Jesus to go to Mars. It doesn't make sense. The whole heaven is God's throne. He didn't give us dominion of the heaven. But you know what? In the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and 8, there was some beasts that had dominion of the heaven. There was. For a time, they took it by transgression. They stole it. And the King of Kings comes and takes that dominion. Actually, I think it's the saints of the Most High take that dominion away. Hello, biblical cosmology, flat earth, NASA lies, space is fake. Get it? What verse? A hindrance to their horses. Oh, that's Enoch. We'll look at another one here in a minute. Okay, so it ends up saying that they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. Now, Enoch explains the exact same idea that John in Revelation explains with the dragon and the beast, and also in the book of Daniel chapter 7 and 8, and also 2nd Esdras chapters 11 and 12. Just for example, let's just go to 2nd Esdras 11. I guarantee you that Ezra's going to see something flying up in the sky opposing God. That's what Daniel saw. That's what John saw in Revelation. There's a place of darkness up in the sky. And if you ask NASA, let's just see, NASA has a made-up explanation, but if you ask them the nature of that place, what do they tell you? They tell you it's in anything there, like in the space station or on the way to the space, anything there is, from our point of view down on the ground, it's moving sideways, parallel with the ground we're walking on. And they think it's going around in a big circle around a globe, orbiting because of gravity. That's made up. None of that's true. What it's doing is it's flying in the sky, just like science would tell us that we built these things and we flew them up to the sky, and we flew sideways at orbital velocity is the word they use, and then they stay up there. How about this? There's no physics in heaven for material things. There's no physics. Why do they float in the ISS? Because they're free falling. That's what NASA would tell you. Because they're in a perpetual state of free fall. Because their outward acceleration around that globe matches magically with their falling towards the center of the Earth around the curvature. Leave that world. Leave that globe. That's not where you live. That's a bottomless pit. That's where Mars is. It's in a prison. A prison of darkness. It's filled with evil spirits. So of course NASA went to the moon. Of course Earth looks like a globe from space. What do you guys expect? You think angels can't trick you? You think Satan can't deceive you? He deceived all of us. Every single one of us that's alive. And John Smith says, the good news is Jesus Christ died for our sins, but he was brought back to life. And I think he wasn't done typing yet. Yeah, he overcame death. And he says to believe in him and have eternal life. But like we were reading, let's go just look at this really quick. I was talking about all these prophets saw the same thing. They saw these vehicles, these rockets, or Enoch chapter 57. That's our next destination after 2nd Ezra. So I'm going to go there quick so I don't forget. We're going to look at all these really quickly, and I mean really quickly. Okay, 2nd Esdras. I just want to show you that in these visions, there are things up flying in the sky. Okay. On the second night I had a dream. I saw an eagle with 12 feathered wings and 3 heads rising up from the sea. As I looked, it spread its wings over the whole earth. And all the winds of heaven blew toward it, and the clouds gathered around it. Okay. And it keeps talking about wings. Out of its wings grew opposing wings. These became small, tiny wings. Okay. I just want to make it clear that the clouds gathered around it, that only happens in the sky. Okay. The winds of heaven blew toward it. That's the winds of heaven are in heaven. They're up there in the sky. It spread its wings over the whole earth. Can you guys think of something that spreads its wings over the whole earth? Now keep in mind, Ezra, this was a long time ago. There wasn't any such thing as rockets. he was looking at something and he's like, what is that? It's moving over the whole earth. Okay. He goes on, sees this eagle, these wings, they go and give power to whatever. Let's see what it says here. They hold sway. They came to power. That's what it is. Hey, I got a friend here. Hey, Bobby. Working your way right in here, huh? It's raining out, so it's like cat time. Let's see here. Okay, so they came to power, these wings. There was 12 feathered wings, and then anyway, I'm not gonna go into detail, but I just wanted to show you that he saw something flying up there, and what ended up happening was, look at this. He gets rebuked. Okay, this let's see, this eagle with let's see, where is it? Okay, verse 36. I heard a voice saying to me, look in front of you and consider what you see. I looked and saw something like a lion being roused, roaring out of the forest. I heard how he spoke in a human voice and said to the eagle, listen, I will speak to you. The Most High says to you. So we know who this is. It's either the Son of God or it's a messenger from God, because it says the Most High says to you, aren't you the last of the 4 beasts that I made to rule in my world, so that I might bring about the end of my times through them? Do you guys understand what this is saying? This is crazy. He's saying he made them to rule in his world. That's heaven, guys. That's exactly what Daniel 7 says, that they took dominion of the host of heaven, and then the saints took that dominion away, and the Son of Man had it eternally. He had an eternal dominion that lasts forever, and so that dominion that God gave them or made them take is only a short dominion, very short, because then Jesus takes it. Him and his saints take it. So let's see, what does this say here? Okay, you, the fourth that has come, conquered all the beasts that came before you, ruling over the world with much terror and over the whole world with harsh oppression. You have lived in the world with deceit for so long. You judged the earth, but not in truth. For you have oppressed the meek and injured those who caused no unrest. Okay, you guys, I hope you understand what this is talking about. Look at this. Your insolence has ascended to the Most High, and your pride to the Mighty One. Don't be involved in this stuff, guys. Don't do it. Because the mystery passage we're going to read has a couple chapters before the chapter we're going to read. It talks about how God is not going to show any pity, because he's giving fair warning. That's the grace of God. Now, there's another one we got to look up after Enoch 57. Whoops. Is Enoch 93, because I want to talk about this apostate generation. Okay, so we'll just click on that, but let's go over here. So that was 2nd Ezra. Now look at, I just want to show you, there's an interpretation of that vision. Let's see here, where does it start? Okay, I woke up because my mind was racing and full of fear. I said to myself, that's not it. Let's see. Supreme Lord, if you do look upon me favorably, if you consider me to be among the more righteous, and if my prayer is indeed risen into your presence, strengthen me and show me, your servant, the interpretation and meaning of this terrible vision. Console my soul, since you have thought me worthy to be shown the end of times and the last events of the times. Think about that, guys. He said to me, this is the interpretation of the vision that you saw. The eagle you saw rising from the sea is the 4th kingdom. If you're familiar with the book of Daniel, the 4th kingdom, that's That's the one that destroys. It's the same, or it is, the eagle you saw rising from the sea is the fourth kingdom. It appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel. So that makes it so we gotta open Daniel. You know what it did in Daniel? Now get this, you guys. We're gonna read it. Oops, I thought I went Bible Hub. We're just gonna keep going here. The scriptures are true. So Daniel 7 verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, no, that's the third one. Okay, the fourth one's Daniel 7 verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Daniel's seeing this, guys. This is a vision. He's saying, I beheld, okay? I beheld, I looked, I saw. He's seeing it. Look at it. It says right here. It says in this verse, after this I saw in the night visions. Okay, so he's giving us his testimony about what he's seeing. And behold, a fourth beast. Look at, behold even. That means look, see. A fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. It had great iron teeth. So he's saying that he's seeing it have great iron teeth. Daniel is, you know what I mean? Daniel's saying, what I'm looking at here has great iron teeth. So I'm sure that could look a lot of different ways. But let's just read on. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I can tell you why it's diverse from all those other ones. Because it can land. It can make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And it carries a dragon up to a space station that this world believes in. And is the space station, the whole idea of low Earth orbit and going to the moon and everything is in error. It's the most dangerous thing that has ever happened in this world, and it's going to bring in destruction. How do I know that? It's going to make the sky fall. How do I know that? Because Enoch told about it. Enoch chapter 57. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon. So men riding on wagons. And coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. Not good. So their wagons were flying. Okay? They were coming on the winds. So they were, you know how Jesus is, behold, he cometh with clouds? Okay, these were coming on the winds. Now listen, you guys, I want to show you something. I gotta do something. I want you guys to grasp this. This is one of the most devastating scriptures that you can read for in the day we live, because before we lived, there's no devastating machine that does this invented till just in our lifetimes almost. We got to consider that flying is only 120 years old or something in our, as far as we know, like in our history. Back in Tower of Babel days, I'm convinced that they were doing the same thing. They were trying to ascend into heaven more than maybe just with a tower. Maybe they were shooting arrows and spears from that tower, because that's what Jasher chapter 9 said they were doing. Shooting them up at God. Shooting rockets at New Jerusalem. Think about it. Anyway, that's what they're doing now. And so I want to show you something, though. So I'm going to go to video. I have to find it. But, or actually, maybe I can... I have a 3-hour video I could look through, but I'm not going to do that. I have a Crucial Time video in here that I could play, but I probably won't play the whole thing. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Captain Caveman, blood arrow, the fiery darts of the devil, rod of wickedness, a flying roll, the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth and touches not the ground, a he-goat that waxes great even to the host of heaven. That's in Daniel. And it cast some of the host of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. There's a dominion in Daniel 7 that someone else has, and we were just reading that in wherever that was, Second Esdras, about how God made them to dwell or to rule in His house, to bring in destruction. That's what it said in Second Esdras. So I gotta find this video. I'm sorry, I'm not a multitasking guy. Sometimes I am. I guess not when I'm on a computer. Okay, I'm gonna play something. And I just want to... I'm just gonna play it just for a minute here. And I want to show you something. Okay, crank up the volume once. I'm cranking mine up. They're miles and miles away from it, so the sound takes a while to get there. Okay, so he saw another host of wagons with men riding them, and they were coming on the winds. And the noise of their wagons was heard. I think we just heard it, okay? Just keep it open mind here. The noise of their wagons was heard, and when this turmoil, where's the word turmoil? Whoops, my mouse must have a dead battery in it. Let's search Google for turmoil. A state of great disturbance, confusion, or uncertainty. Okay. One thing that, you know how there's the Black Lives Matter or whatever, the hashtag. How about this? Angels' lives matter. How about that? When this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. And they shall all fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. Okay, now let's go back one chapter, because... Oh, I'm sorry, I had my mic down. That was dumb. I hope I didn't go too long. Okay, so keep in mind, I think where I gotta go is back to, we just played the rocket thing and then you didn't hear anything after that. So it should be fixed. Sorry guys. I'm gonna read it now. So he saw another host of wagons, and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds, and the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. Okay. Do you realize what Enoch just saw? He saw something in the sky, with men on it flying. He called it a wagon. And he said that it was loud, and it was disturbingly loud. So loud that the angels in heaven noticed it. Now, that sound, it says that the pillars of the earth were moved from their place. The pillars of the earth. What does NASA think about the pillars of the earth? Oh, they don't think anything about it. They don't even know about them. That's how dumb NASA ends up being in the end. Don't, like I'm saying, science. Science is for natural physical world, or I mean, even NASA considers space to be the same physics of this world. But it's clearly not. Everything in space is free falling. That's nothing like this world. There's no air in space. That's nothing like this world. Because it's darkness. It's outer darkness. And the people trying to go there are being deceived by the devil. And he's gathering them up to fight against God. And I think the battle's already happening. And Michael's fighting up in the sky with the dragon. The winds become a very interesting thing to look at, so we're gonna this is like, if you want to know about the creation, about this earth, you want knowledge that's actual truth about this creation, listen to these verses here. So this is Enoch telling, he's being shown things. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them, so he had furnished with the winds, the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. Atmosphere or whatever. Okay? And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds, which bear the earth and the firmament of heaven. What does it mean to bear something? That means to hold it up, support it, whatever. So the four winds hold up the firmament. So whatever the firmament is, which is dark waters, it holds them up. The air holds them up. The air holds the darkness up. The firmament, or whatever space is, the place where the sun, moon, and stars are, that place, that's called space, or that's called darkness, or it's called the firmament. Because we know that he created the firmament, but then he put the sun, moon, and stars in the firmament to give light upon the earth, and to be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So to be a calendar, and to be a clock, and to be for signs, and to give light upon the earth. Because without those, he created light, but not lights before that. So, and I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven, and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn, and bring the circumference of the sky and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. That's what the earth is made like. I mean, that's not totally in detail or something, but that's talking about all the air, the wind, the atmosphere. That's where the earth is. So if you go out of the atmosphere into space, you're not even in the earth. You're in a different realm, and it happens to be a realm of darkness where everything perpetually falls and never stops, never gets to the bottom. Because it's a bottomless pit, and there was a beast that came up out of that bottomless pit. And it's actually, if you think about it, Those are dark waters. There's waters above. So that bottomless pit is like dark waters, whatever that is. Perpetual free fall. NASA thinks it's a vacuum. Not a vacuum. It's just a void. It's an abyss. That's what it is. It's an abyss. Okay, let's go to Enoch 93, talking about the apostate state of the world that we're in. Now, this is an awesome passage here. Okay, it's going over. He's saying these out as like weeks. Okay, 6th week, the 6th week, and then a man shall ascend. Okay. And after that, in the 7th week, shall an apostate generation arise, and many shall be its deeds, and all its deeds shall be apostate. Yes, I'm the one saying that that's us. All our deeds are apostate. And at its close shall be elected the elect righteous of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning what? All his creation. That's why we're learning about flat earth. Because we are at its close. We are at this week's close. Now look what it says here. If we want knowledge, here's knowledge. For who is there of all the children of men that is able to hear the voice of the Holy One without being troubled? And who can think his thoughts? And who is there that can behold all the works of heaven? And how should there be one who could behold the heaven? And who is there that could understand the things of heaven, and see a soul or a spirit, and could tell thereof? Or ascend, and see all their ends, and think them, or do like them? And who is there of all men that could know what is the breadth and the length of the earth? And to whom has it been shown the measure of all them? Or is there anyone who could discern the length of the heaven, and how great is its height, and upon what it is founded? And how great is the number of the stars, and where all the luminaries rest? To receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. Okay? There's more. I'll read this. And this is the second parable concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling of the holy ones and the Lord of spirits. So if I was to ask NASA where God lives, would they even give me an answer? No, they wouldn't. Now the people working at NASA might say, God lives in heaven. And then I would ask them, then what are you doing? What are you trying to do, NASA? But this is important. This says, this parable is concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling of the holy ones. Where do the holy ones live? And the Lord of spirits, where do they live? Heaven. They dwell in heaven. The name of the dwelling. So it would be heaven. They deny heaven, okay? And into the heaven they shall not ascend, and on the earth they shall not come. Such shall be the lot of the sinners who have denied the name of the Lord of spirits, who are thus preserved for the day of suffering and tribulation. On that day mine elect one, that would be Jesus, shall sit on the throne of glory, and shall try their works. And their places of rest shall be innumerable, and their souls shall grow strong within them when they see mine elect ones, and those who have called upon my glorious name. Call on his name, guys. Join the crew. It's hip. It's it's what you should do. If I could ever emphasize something, it would be to do exactly that. Call upon his glorious name. He will take you out of darkness and show you his marvelous light, and it will change your life, and you'll understand why I go on YouTube and say these things. And even however much time there is until this happens, we're going to look at one more chapter. I'm going to go there before I forget. I want to show you what the angels think of that loud noise and the shaking and quaking of the heaven. So there, we'll go to here though. All right. And into heaven they shall not ascend, and on the earth they shall not come. Oh, I already did that. Okay, we're way further. And their souls, we're in verse 3, and their souls shall grow strong within them when they see mine elect ones, and those who have called upon my glorious name. Open the door. He'll answer. He's waiting for you. Then will I cause mine elect one to dwell among them, and I will transform the heaven and make it an eternal blessing and light. Like, you know, when we look up and we see night, there won't be that anymore. It will be light, which I don't know what that'll look like. Blue sky maybe, but maybe not. It says, so he's going to transform the heaven, you guys. Okay, where were we? Sorry. And you'll make an eternal blessing and light. And I will transform the earth and make it a blessing. Sounds like flat earth almost. I will transform the earth and make it a blessing, and I will cause mine elect ones to dwell upon it. But the sinners and evildoers shall not set foot thereon. Are you staying on a globe, guys? Get off the globe. Seriously. I couldn't say it louder to everyone. Like that's it. To believe something like that is to have faith in the devil. Because space, if you can't let go of space, that proves your globe, doesn't it? Yeah, but we went to the moon. Yeah, I bet you did. God will send them strong delusion so that they believe the lie. You bet they went to the moon. But the moon's a light, according to the scriptures. So they went to the moon, but it wasn't real. It was just real good at letting their hearts be wicked. So this is why I think that flat earth is so important. I see it as the grace of God. I see it as him putting his hand out to us, saying, hey, this is the truth. And he even warned us, and Paul warned us, those who don't receive the love of the truth will be damned, because they have pleasure in unrighteousness. So, what is so wicked about space? Well, it's hell. If you want to ascend into hell or go actually sideways to hell, follow NASA. But if you want to ascend into heaven, like if you want to be in heaven with Jesus, follow him. There's a big difference in the two. Look at the thumbnail of this video. It's like a globe with a Bible, and the Bible is like flat. Genesis. He created... Oh yeah, wait a minute. Oh yeah, okay. I just had it come to mind. The plane. The vision that I saw in the plane. That might give you guys a hint of where we're going to for our secret scripture that we're going to. So he'll make his elect ones dwell on this transformed earth, but the sinners won't set foot there. Get off the globe. Okay. I want to show you guys another thing. So about those angels, that they remarked it when that super loud noise, that turmoil took place from those wagons that Enoch saw flying in the sky with men riding on them, coming on the winds. Well, let me just read a little bit of this. So Enoch's, it says, this is a Book of Noah fragment, quaking of the heaven, behemoth and leviathan, the elements. Science versus the Bible. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month, in the life of Enoch, in that parable, I saw how a mighty quaking made the heaven of heavens to quake, and the host of the Most High, and the angels, and a thousand thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000 were disquieted with a great disquiet. So that's what it does to the angels. And the head of days sat on the throne of his glory, and the angels and righteous stood around him. And a great trembling seized me, and fear took hold of me, and my loins gave way, and dissolved were my reins, and I fell upon my face. And Michael sent another angel from among the holy ones, and he raised me up. And when he had raised me up, my spirit returned. For I had not been able to endure the look of this host, and the commotion, and the quaking of heaven, of the heaven. And Michael said unto me, Why art thou disquieted with such a vision? Until this day lasted the day of his mercy, and he hath been merciful and long-suffering towards those who dwell on the earth. And when the day and the power and the punishment and the judgment come, which the Lord of spirits hath prepared for those who worship not the righteous law, and for those who deny the righteous judgment, and for those who take his name in vain, that day is prepared. For the elect a covenant, but for sinners an inquisition. When the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall rest upon them, it shall rest in order that the punishment of the Lord of spirits may not come in vain. And it shall slay the children with their mothers, and the children with their fathers. Afterwards the judgment shall take place according to his mercy and his patience. This is reminding me of... I guess I'll just go this way. Another interesting thing. Astronomical secrets. We're just going to scoot around in the book of Enoch, I guess. Okay, we're almost going to read our mystery chapter in the Bible. Okay. After that, I saw all the secrets of the heavens, and how the kingdom is divided, and how the actions of men are weighed in the balance. And there I saw the mansions of the elect, and the mansions of the holy, and mine eyes saw there all the sinners being driven from thence, which deny the name of the Lord of spirits, and being dragged off, and they could not abide because of the punishment which proceeds from the Lord of spirits. So there was a separation happening, guys, and it had something to do with the secrets of the heavens, and how the kingdom is divided, okay? And there mine eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the thunder, and the secrets of the winds, how they are divided to blow over the earth, the secrets of the clouds and dew. And there I saw from whence they proceed in that place, and from whence they saturate the dusty earth. And there I saw closed chambers, out of which the winds are divided, the chamber of the hail and the winds, the chamber of the mist and of the clouds, and the cloud thereof hovers over the earth from the beginning of the world. And I saw the chambers of the sun and the moon, or sun and moon, whence they proceed and whither they come again, and their glorious return, and how one is superior to the other, and their stately orbit, and how they do not leave their orbit, and they add nothing to their orbit, and they take nothing from it. And they keep faith with each other, in accordance with the oath by which they are bound together. This is what science wishes to know. The sun and moon, they have a contract with each other, or you could almost say. They're bound together. First the sun goes forth and traverses his path according to the commandment of the Lord of spirits. So God commanded the sun to do what it does, and it does it. He spoke it. And it's happening right now. And it happened our whole lives. Because God spoke it. In 6 days. It's pretty amazing. Science can't explain that. And mighty is his name forever and ever. And after that I saw the hidden and visible path of the moon. And she accomplishes the course of her path in that place by day and by night. The one holding position opposite to the other before the Lord of spirits. and they give thanks and praise and rest not. For unto them is their thanksgiving rest. For the sun changes. Okay, check out this verse. You know, I was saying that NASA says, we went to the moon. They think they go to the moon. That's how cool they are. And then I said, but the moon's a light. The moon's part of heaven. The moon's like not a place to go. It's not a piece of land. But apparently NASA went and they found a piece of land. Okay? That's why I just think it's Apollo lying. Apollo is just lying and deceiving the world. Okay, for the sun changes oft for a blessing or a curse. And the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners in the name of the Lord, who made a separation between the light and darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness. For no angel hinders, and no power is able to hinder, for he appoints a judge for them all, and he judges them all before him. That's actual truth. Let's see here. I was going to look for... Okay, we'll finally go. We'll finally go to our... Let me just close a bunch of these because maybe I'll have better luck with my computer here. Okay. Are you ready? The chapter that we're going to look at... we're going to look at a few chapters. So... But we don't have to go look at the whole chapters. I'll just go right here and click on this. Ezekiel. I want to show you guys something very interesting in Ezekiel. And this has to do with what you believe heaven is, what you believe the sky is, what you believe. Do you believe God? Do you believe that he's there? He claims to be there. So I believe him. He is there. Let me go. Whoops. Why does it say 9/11? What the world? I guess it's just taking a second. Sorry, guys. Glad to see everyone here today. I'm not following the chat very good because I'm trying to stay on, on where I'm trying to go here. Okay, so we're gonna read this, but I wanted to set the stage so we understand where Ezekiel is, what he's being shown, and to do this. Okay, this is the chapter I said that was earlier chapter in this book, where God gives great warning to anyone taking part in putting things in his sanctuary. Now, in order to do this, maybe we need to do something first. We need to understand let me see here. Let me get a notepad up here. I want to show you guys something that there's words in here that have very clear meanings. And we can be wishy-washy in our thinking, or we can actually understand what it's saying. So we need to understand some words, okay? Sanctuary of God. Okay, I'm just typing... let me go to the font a little bit bigger here. Whoop. So you guys can see it too. Okay, that's better. Sanctuary of God. Throne of God. Temple of God. New Jerusalem. The holy city. Mount Zion. These places are all in the sky. Every one of them. What else is there? There's the tabernacle of God. Up in the sky. Hundreds of times in the Bible, the Lord says that the heaven is his throne, or that he looks down from heaven constantly, like in Psalms. It's all throughout Psalms. God's in heaven. In Revelation, the temple of God is in heaven. The angels flying in and out of the temple, they're going up and down from heaven. Heaven's in the sky. The temple's in the sky. The tabernacle's in the sky. Okay? Don't be confused and wishy-washy in your thinking that you are the temple of God. Because you are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit comes from God. What does it say in John somewhere? It says that that the Spirit of truth, I think, proceeds from the Father in heaven. Okay? God's in heaven, on his throne. Jesus at his right hand. What I'm saying is that's in heaven, that's up in the sky. And if we're believing planets and that space is a physical type place, we're going to believe in God. And actually, this is why we're going to be reading these couple chapters. So the sanctuary of God, the throne of God. Now, here's another one. God's secret place. Whoops, it says in Psalm 18 that he made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. He rode upon a cherub, yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. Okay, I'm just saying that off the top of my head. That's from Psalm 18. He bowed the heavens and came down, and darkness was under his feet. This is God in the sky. Darkness is in the sky. It's under his feet. And darkness is his secret place. What else? Yeah, okay. Let me just minimize that. Okay. He gives great warning. He talks about the end. An end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee. Think of satellites and the stuff that they put up in the sky that we can see from the ground and track from the ground, 20,000 satellites or whatever they got up there. He's going to recompense his ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, instead of in his place. Think about it. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. An end is come, the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come, the morning. Okay. Though thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now I will shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and will accomplish mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. Okay, he says this very clearly in this whole chapter. Look what it says down here in verse 20. As for the okay, God's in heaven. Just remember that. God's in the sky. He's in heaven on his throne. Jesus at his right hand. That's real. That's truth. There's angels up there. There's layers of heavens. There's where the sun and moon go and where the stars go. These are all in different areas of heaven, of the firmament. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty. Look at this. But they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil. And they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Do you guys get what this is saying? People always want to say, oh, that was Ezekiel's day. No, that's today. It was Ezekiel's day too, but what I'm saying is the Word of God is alive. He's speaking this to us now. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Would that be talking about churches? Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor, and they shall seek a vision of the prophet. But the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancients. The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So here's where we don't have to read this whole chapter, but what I'm going to do is I want to be very clear of this vision that Ezekiel has, okay? He states several times in this chapter where he is, where he's being taken to, where he's going, and also of the things that are taking place in that place that he's going. And it happens to be New Jerusalem up in the sky. And he's in a vision of it. Okay? I'll just read this. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in my house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld. We know what that means, to behold something. Sorry, my mouse is not working right. And lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward fire, and from his loins even upward as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by the lock of mine head. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven. So where's Ezekiel now? He's between the earth and the heaven. Up in the sky. And brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. So he's up in New Jerusalem, and he calls it the visions of God in to Jerusalem. And he's at the door of the inner gate that looks towards the north. And he saw this image of jealousy, which I don't know, but I could picture that being a big old globe, the idea of a globe. But then he says, according to the vision that I saw in the plain, which is interesting. Okay, so then he shows them, he talks about his sanctuary. I better read that. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest what they do, thou what they do? Even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here? That I should go far off from my sanctuary? What's he saying? He's saying they think I left? They think I left my throne? What are these abominations that they're committing here? But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. Okay, and now I'm just going to skip that down to the last one he saw. Now, where is it? Oh yeah, you guys should, this should ring a bell. Because what have I've been telling you to get off the globe, okay? You're not orbiting the sun. God didn't make it that way. Science can't even, that's just a guess. And you've never seen a solar system. You've never seen anything but the luminaries moving over your head. You don't go around the sun. The sun goes over your house every day. That's what we observe. So remember, science, observation. Take the knowledge of God, it's the truth. But being that the solar system, the Earth is orbiting around the sun. Okay, just keep that in mind. It's orbiting around the sun in a solar system, which is false. But look at what God says about it. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. Okay, that's not the right one. Verse 16. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east. Are you heliocentric? Because if you are, I would consider what I don't know what word I'm looking for. Leaving. I would consider leaving that faith. I would consider leaving your church, your space church, and your globe church. The religion that you guys are involved in. Because I don't believe in any of that. I used to. Okay, look what God says about this. So they were worshiping the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. And then he repeats himself, Therefore will I also deal in fury, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet I will not hear them. We've been warned. And it's just people, if you're thinking wishy-washy thinking, and not specific about the temple of God or the tabernacle or the sanctuary, those are all in heaven. And people mix it up, and it's like new agey to me for someone to say, I'm the tabernacle of God. No, you're not. Paul said that you're the temple of the Holy Spirit. That's what Paul said. And the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father in heaven. The Father is in heaven, okay? God's on his throne, never left. He's always there looking down on us like grasshoppers in a tent that he made for us to dwell in. The firmament. Look what he says. Oh, actually, I just got done with that. Okay, so look at this now. So, where is Ezekiel now? He is up in heaven, or in New Jerusalem, the temple of God. That's where he is, in the sky, okay? I want to go back to that chapter to reiterate this again, to verify this again, okay? And he put forth the form of a hand, and took me by the lock of mine head, and the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem. Okay? He's up in the sky. Very important for this next chapter that we're reading. So he sees something going on up there. This is awesome. This is the chapter that I'm actually going to read, and then that was mostly what I was planning on doing, but this, we'll talk about it for a minute. Okay. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. So this is all up in New Jerusalem. I'm just reminding you guys because I don't want people to wonder about this. This isn't written in a way for us to wonder about it, especially when we consider these words. I mean, these phrases, whatever, these right here. Sanctuary, the throne, the temple. And there's a lot more, too. I mean, heaven. Yeah, I can't think of any more right now. Minimize that. Okay. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city. Where is he, guys? He's in Jerusalem. New Jerusalem, though. The temple of God that comes down out of heaven from God in the end. That Jesus said, to them that overcome will I make a pillar in the temple of my God. That temple, the holy city that he was talking about. The city of his God. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Let me explain what I think this is here. Set a mark. I can't even highlight anything. Okay, set a mark on the foreheads of people who sigh and cry for those abominations that be done in the midst of Jerusalem. Apply this to 2021, please. Let me review Revelation 3 that I was talking about there. Because this is Jesus. This is his testimony. I believe him. Oops. Or is it... Am I even in the right chapter? Is it chapter 2? It's got to be 3. I'm just not used to reading it on the screen here. Oh yeah, right here. Sorry. Okay. Verse 11. I am coming soon. Hold fast to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. Oh, I got the wrong version here somehow, I think. I like the KJV. I'm not like a KJV only or something, but I like the KJV. That's why I didn't know where it was. Okay. Verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God. Look it. In the temple of my God. And he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. So New Jerusalem is up in the sky, and it comes down out of heaven from God. Well, we got to go to Revelation 7. This is where people get sealed in their foreheads, because we were just reading about that. He's telling this story about this. So the people that are the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. How many people have you heard say, satellites are fake, space is fake, the ISS is a hoax? How many times have you heard that in the last 5 years? That idea. NASA doesn't go anywhere. Not a straight answer. Never a straight answer. It looks so fake, it must be real, or whatever. These kinds of things. You guys know what I'm talking about. How often do you hear that people saying that? I think this is talking about those people. They sigh and cry for all those abominations that are done in the midst of Jerusalem. Now, let me verify this with Enoch. When I had my mic off, I was going to go there, and then I never went back because I figured I lost enough time on that. Okay, so this talks about that, as well as Revelation 11. Sorry. Let's see here. So the abominations that they're doing in the midst of Jerusalem. So that would be up in the sky, where New Jerusalem comes down out of heaven. So it'd be up in heaven. There's these abominations that they're doing, that are being done in the middle of Jerusalem. Well, that's what this talks about in Enoch chapter 56, verse 5. And in those days the angels shall return and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them. And they shall rouse them from their thrones, and that they may break forth as lions from their lairs, as hungry wolves from among their flocks. Right here, guys. And they shall go up and tread underfoot the land of his elect ones. What's the land of his elect ones? That's New Jerusalem. The city of my God that comes down out of heaven from God. So they're going to tread underfoot the land of his elect ones. And the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor and a highway. A highway, guys. Look at, but the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses. Because there's people like me, and people like a lot of people in the chat, and people that read the Bible, people that believe the book of Revelations, that say, hey, wait a minute, there is a city up there. The city of God, the temple of God, is up in the sky. So what are they doing with rockets? What are they doing with the space station? What are they doing with space? Well, I can just tell you this. The city, it says, but the city of my righteous shall be a hindrance to their horses. How many people have been to a NASA live stream where they've actually had the chat on? I've made videos about it on my channel. I've done videos where I've showed one case where someone said the world is flat, and the NASA, the moderator, the whatever it was, NASA Goddard or whatever, they said, let's try to stay on top. They said that person's name, like they highlighted that person's name, and they said, let's try to stay on point or on topic. It's a hindrance to their horses. Half the world thinks NASA's a joke. 6 years ago, everyone didn't really talk about it much. Just think about it. Okay. It's a hindrance to their horses, this topic of biblical cosmology, because it says no data. Great. Okay, let's see. So these people get sealed in their foreheads in Revelation 7. And that is, I think, what God is telling this man clothed with linen, with the writer's ink by his side, to mark them. Set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither ye have pity. Okay, you guys, this is where it's kind of sad, because since NASA limits their science is limited and in error so greatly that it's going to cost people's souls, and this is where a place where this is up in New Jerusalem. What is it? Is this equivalent to getting their name blotted out of the book of life? Because look what happens. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house, and he said unto them, defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. In New Jerusalem, guys. This really has a lot to do with what we believe. What we believe is so important. Because this thing that Ezekiel's seeing here, in God's sanctuary up in the sky, New Jerusalem, the vision that he saw on the plane, this thing was happening. He saw these, and they were told to slay utterly old. I don't think that's your life on this earth being slayed. That's your forehead, that you're being marked, or you're not being marked with where is it? What does it say here? I don't want to get it wrong. Set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of the people that realize that that New Jerusalem is up there are going to have a fit because of what NASA and everybody thinks they're doing. And that's what's happening. So it said, look what it says happens though. He said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? Okay, guys, listen to this. Then he said unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness, for they say, the Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. And as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me. So I think Ezekiel was seeing spiritual, or what does it say in Enoch somewhere? It says, when they didn't trust in the Lord of spirits, it killed their spirit because of the lust of their flesh. That was, let me look that up. That was in Enoch 67. Yeah, 67, I think. How I remember that, I don't know. It's because of the lust of their bodies, like they're in love with their physical life on this earth. They think that's all they get, and so they deny the Lord of spirits, and it kills them. It kills their spirit. It actually says that in here. Let's see. Here we are. Okay, and in proportion as the burning of their bodies becomes severe. Okay, I'll start in verse 8. But those waters shall in those days serve for the kings and the mighty and the exalted. And it's talking about the waters where the angels are punished. The dark waters. The prison for the stars and the host of heaven. Babylon the Great, a habitation of devils. Lots of things being revealed, I think, in all of these things. But those waters in those days shall serve for the kings and the mighty and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, for the healing of the body, but for the punishment of the spirit. Now their spirit is full of lust, that they may be punished in their body, for they have denied the Lord of spirits, and see their punishment daily, yet believe not in his name. And in proportion as the burning of their bodies becomes severe, a corresponding change shall take place in their spirit forever and ever. For before the Lord of spirits none shall utter an idle word, for the judgment shall come upon them, because they believe in the lust of their body and deny the Spirit of the Lord. And it talks about those waters starting on fire and becoming a fire which burns forever. Because the waters undergo changes in those days when the angels are punished in those waters, and when the angels ascend. This water of the springs shall change and become cold. I'll tell you what, scary stuff. Because it's real. NASA calls it dark matter. Actually, I'll play a video where we can watch. What was it? It was. We'll find out. I gotta find it. Whoops. Oh no. What did I do? I don't. Oh. Okay, I got lucky. I shut my program down and started it right back up, and it kept going. I'll find this video, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I just want to state, science can't explain creation because creation is supernatural. I mean, can science explain God speaking something and it manifesting? No. The best they do with that is they go think of a Big Bang, because there can't be a God. Got to be a Big Bang, or got to be something like that. Or it's a simulation of who knows. All the ideas are wrong. There's one that's right. Heaven is above the earth, and it's what we experience. It's the world we live in, and trying to escape it is what Lucifer wants you to do. Wants you to live in a different world than where God created, because if you live in that other world on that globe, you don't even know where God is. If you're in Australia and you point up, are you going to be pointing towards God, or are you going to be pointing the opposite way? Because I'm on the other side of the world. You don't live on a globe. Up is up, down is down. Part of this nature, part of this world. Part of this flat plane realm we live on. On, whatever. Okay, I don't know where that video is. I have an idea, though. Or somewhat of an idea. You know how I roll. It always takes me a while to to find a video. Oh, I found it already. That's awesome. Okay, let's listen to them talk about dark matter, or dark waters, I mean. Whatever we want to call it. They compare it to water, so. This is JPL, I think is what this is. I can't remember. Let's find it here and listen. And thanks, guys. I'm going to head out after this, and yeah, that's what I put in the chat. I'll say this before I play the video. Trying to understand creation, or I'll say earth science, when it's a supernatural world, is like how many gallons of gasoline can you fit in your horse? Or how many oats does your car take? Like that. It's the wrong ball game. It's not even the same. You can't answer a supernatural thing with science. It just won't ever work. Now, a lot of it you can, like curvature and the lack thereof. And like the earth not moving. We can measure, you don't measure it not moving. If you look in the room you're in right now, you'll notice that it's not moving. It can't be moving. If it was moving, you wouldn't be able to count on it like the way you do. Plus, God said it's still and immovable. Very simple. Yeah, I think that's about all I gotta say. So thank you guys for hanging out, and yeah, keep spreading the truth around. A lot of people are listening.
So I'm going to tell you about how we measure dark matter, since it's invisible. What I have here is a cartoon of how we measure dark matter. In cosmology, we measure distances with a unit called Z. So we're here at Z of 0. We're the observer. We're 0 distance from ourselves. And here's our telescope. And we look at distant galaxies out in the universe. These distant galaxies that are of Z about 1. And that might sound like a small distance, but how we do it in cosmology is a distance of 1 is actually about halfway to the edge of the visible universe. So this is a very distant galaxy. In the absence of anything between us and that galaxy.
And God said,
"Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters."
And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
The light from this galaxy would take a straight path to us. But we know from the work that Vera Rubin and others did that there's all this dark matter out there in the universe. And we're particularly sensitive with this technique to dark matter that's about halfway between us and the distant galaxy. Excuse me. One of the consequences of Einstein's theory of relativity, our theory of gravity, is that mass bends space. So what this means is the light, when it gets near this dark matter won't take a straight path to us. That light is going to take a distorted and curved path. And I'm showing a very, very exaggerated version of that here, so it's easier to see. The consequence of this is that we will not see the galaxy as it actually is. We'll see a distorted version of the galaxy. So the dark matter between us, which we can't see, has distorted our image of this distant galaxy. And in doing so, it's telling us something about the dark matter. So I'm going to tell you with one more analogy. I'm going to use another analogy for how we measure dark matter. This is a penny in a pool. That's the analogy here. And full disclosure, Alina and I don't actually have a pool. So you're looking at a penny in our bathtub, but penny in the pool sounds better. So in this analogy, the penny is like the distant galaxy. And the water in our bathtub, or the water in a pool, is like the dark matter. You don't see the water here, but you know it's there because you see the effect on the image of the penny. So what's happening is the light is coming to us from the penny, and it's taking some distorted path that changes our perceived shape of the penny so that we know the water is there. So that we know the water is there. In much the same way as the light from a distant galaxy comes to us, takes a distorted path through the dark matter, and we see a distorted image of that galaxy. But we don't see the dark matter. We don't see the water. So that we know the water is there. I could tell the density of the water and how much water there was, and that's going to tell us a lot about the properties of dark matter. That's how we're learning about dark matter now, and that's how we're going to learn about dark matter in the future.
He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies.